truth, and life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, listeners? Let's go on in this piece. Man, we are doing day 2 of Love Possibilities with Khadijah Tou Tou. And the one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is this, is that we talked yesterday about how we can connect. And I mean, we went into it. And I'm not going to lie, man, it was straight up thunder. And so we're going to go back in, but I think this time around I'm going to ask, how did we believe the lie? How did we get so toxic? Because these are the things that we need to know in order to heal. It's almost like a doctor doing your medical history. And the crazy thing about medical history, when we look at relationship history and family history, is that these are the things that can affect us at times. And so the one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is this, is that where there is darkness or where there is ignorance, and I'm talking about just, blindness to certain areas or things that you just don't know, an enemy that is hidden can always be an effective enemy. And sometimes these enemies work from within. Self-sabotage your success, self-sabotage your relationship, because you didn't know that you have something going on the inside and you're trying to figure out why, but you never took the time to answer certain questions or even look at certain ideologies and things that you believed growing up. So today we're going to deal with these things. And it just takes me back because I was thinking before I got on the mic, I was thinking about a poem that I wrote a long time ago. It was called I'll Ask Forgiveness for Them. And I purposed the poem as a means of trying to have reconciliation or trying to have a successful relationship with a woman who was bruised by somebody else. And so in that poem, I was saying, I'll ask forgiveness for them. I'll ask forgiveness for the ones that broke your heart, for the ones that disrespected you, so that me and you can have a successful relationship in love. And so today I'm asking that question. Where was it? Where did he hurt you? How did he hurt you? Because I want to take and ask forgiveness for the man that is in the image of me, but not me. Because the one thing I'm going to tell you, it's not fair to yourself, and it's not fair to the other man or the other woman that the present person pays for what the last person did. And then the crazy thing about it is that they're constantly walking on eggshells, jumping through hoops, trying to prove they got to pay double the price and only get half of you. Whereas before them, you gave the other person freely, all of you, freely. So this is why we need to heal, because we take some of that toxicity into present relationships. And then the crazy thing about it is that next thing you know, we up here saying all these niggas ain't shit. What these bitches want from a nigga. And we just like, you know what? I don't even want to have a relationship. I'm just going to smash. And so we need to get to the place where we change our mindsets, that we heal our hearts, because it's not fair and it's not right that you're not living your best life in the best version of you. So I want you to have love. I want you to have marriage. I want you to have babies. I want you to have all of that. But you got to come to the reality of who you are and ask yourself, how did this toxicity get in, and how did I believe a lie? Because I ain't gonna lie, yo, it's all over media. You go on Clubhouse, it's on Clubhouse. You go on TikTok, it's on TikTok. You go to Facebook, it's on Facebook. It's all over the place. And sometimes that toxic voice and mindset is louder than the one that brings life, that brings wholeness, that brings soundness. Because I ain't gonna lie, people get entertained by drama. And a lot of times people get bored by seeing wholeness and soundness and health. So, we got Miss Khadijah coming back. I want you guys to stand by. This is going to be good. All right, guys, here's Miss Khadijah.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on, Miss Khadijah? Let me give you some applause, baby. I am so glad to have you back on this phone for day 2.
Yes, day 2. We on it again.
Because I ain't going to lie, I was listening, I was like, man, this was deep. And I mean, it was deep. I'm serious. So I think, hey, we got to definitely go deep today, because I think today I'm going to go there. I'm serious, because we talked about love. You were transparent. You gave us game that I've never heard before in my life.
Oh, that's awesome. I like hearing that.
Seriously. So today, I was reminded of a poem that I wrote a long time ago. It's called "I'll Ask Forgiveness for Them." And I premised the poem off of a man wanting to love a woman, but she's been hurt and scarred by somebody else. So in the poem, the guy was asking, I'll ask forgiveness for them who hurt you so that me and you can go on and have a successful love relationship.
Right.
And so I think today I want to ask and talk about, how did the toxicity get in? How did the false narratives get in where we lost the disconnect between one another when it comes to our love relationships and even marriage? Because now people don't even believe in marriage no more. They don't believe in relationships. So, that's where I want to go. But before we do all that, I just want to ask the same question like I asked you yesterday. Who are you?
Yeah. I mean, the answer is still the same. I'm a spirit. I'm a God. I'm a God who worships God. So it's going to stay the same.
Okay.
I'm just here and being used as a vessel. That's it.
Hey, I'm serious. I love the work that you're doing and the work that you're going to definitely produce, later on. So I thank God for you. Let me give you some applause. Because like I said, I'm like, man, you have the gift of manifestation. So I'm not going to lie. The man who marries you, oh my God, dude, you might as well call your house the house of faith, the house of possibility. I'm serious.
I like that. Hey, I will say this. He definitely will be a lucky man. That's what I will say. And I'll be a blessed one. So,
yeah.
But the Bible does say, "He who finds a good thing." So I gotta be as good as I can be.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, hey, I look at it like this, like the scripture says, the blessing of the Lord makes rich and he adds no sorrow with it. So whoever comes into your life, he is not going to be sorry that he met you. I mean, through the whole phase, dating, marriage, kids, it's going to be a blessing.
Oh, thank you for blessing my life like that.
Seriously.
Prophet Leon.
No problem. Prophetess. Yeah, you bring a healing. You getting our minds right, because the Bible says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind."
Amen.
So at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, whatever I can do to help the prophets keep on healing people, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it. Whatever needs to be brought.
Yay! Hey, that's how you have to be, though.
Exactly.
If not you, then who?
Exactly. So I want to just go in there and just ask, how is it that we as, if I could say black people or people in general, where do we start believing this lie? That, you know, we got to the place now we start to vocalize the hurt, because I kind of coined it as medical history, dating history, family history. Because a lot of times, you know, people self-sabotage their love relationships because of things that they may have been brought up on, or things that they don't even know about. Yeah. That they just taken into themselves subconsciously, if I can say it like that.
Right.
So I just want to get your take on that. You know, how do we believe the lie? How do women start saying, "Oh, these niggas ain't shit"? How?
You know, it just means that the system works. And that's what we have to constantly remind ourselves, is that what feels like it's our nature is actually not our nature, and what feels foreign, what feels right, feels wrong. Like what's right feels wrong. What's wrong feels right. And so we have to understand where we are in place and time and who it is that we live amongst. And this is why I believe knowing your history is so important, because I think people take the wrong lessons from history. They take with them the feeling of hatred. They take with them the feeling of resentment. But it's just understanding, how did the mind become weak in the first place to fall for the trick in the first place? And at some point, we have to be responsible for ourselves. We have to become comfortable managing ourselves and saying, we are the reason why we were in our position. And we have to take full accountability and responsibility. And yes, we can blame other parties. We can say that other people treated us however which way, which, you know, they did. However, we have to also recognize the system that, you know, that we're in, and how to thrive within it, and at the same time block it out. Because at the end of the day, the more that I can make a human being feel like they're not worthy and degrade their value, just because someone doesn't see your value doesn't mean that you don't have value. Right? That's it. That's there's a reason to that, right? Exactly. And so it's understanding what that reason is. And I think if we go back in history and we look at the Willie Lynch letter. Have you ever heard of the Willie Lynch letter?
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah, so if we look at the Willie Lynch letter, and for those people who are listening that may not know what it is, definitely look it up. It's Willie Lynch, Willie, and then Lynch, Lynch, which is actually where lynching came from, that last name. And he came to Virginia, and he basically gave a speech about how to break down the slaves, how to break down the black man, how to break down the black woman, what to do if they resisted. And he was a master psychologist. And as much as we, you know, may not like the history, it was brilliant. It was genius. What, you know, the kind of system that they had in place, because anyone can argue and say, no, but that was wrong. Yeah, it was wrong, but it doesn't mean it wasn't genius. It was a very genius plan, because it worked 450 years later. And people are still in automatic, you know, and we've been taught to not like each other. We've been taught to go against each other. We've been taught all these things. So we have to be open and willing to unlearn, you know, and say, where did this hate come from? Where did this dislike come from? Where does me speaking to my brother as if he's not a king come from? Where does that resentment stem from? Why did my father... I'm not mad at my father for not being there for me as a child. I'm mad at the system that made my father that way.
I like that.
I can't hate him. He's a product of the system that he grew up in. And though I wish, you know, certain things were different, it's okay, because everybody has their journey. And like kind of like what we talked about yesterday, is being patient with other people's journey, being patient with people's awakening, being patient, and just knowing that one day they will wake up. And hopefully it's not on their deathbed. Hopefully it's not on, whatever it is, people wake up and being able to show them patience and grace and open arms when they do, because they're going to need some place to retreat to.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like us being those open arms and being like, hey, there's a better way to do this. And I think a lot of the times, because we don't hear this narrative a lot, because we don't see it, right? Without no image, there's confusion. And so because people don't see it a lot, they tend to not know what that looks like. So, or they might not even know that they don't know until they see it and they're like, oh my gosh, or there's a resistance to it, or there might be a calling towards it, And so it's having that balance of, like I said yesterday, of being that traditional woman in modern times, which means that the traditional woman has kind of modernized herself just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit, but to the point where, women these days are more educated, but it's not to be more educated to work for, you work for who you want to, but in a traditional woman sense, I'm working for my family, I'm working for my husband, I'm working for, these different things. So if you can get yourself in position to be able to work for your, like for me, I'm very educated. I've traveled the world. I've spoken to different people. My passport is so marked up. I had to get a second passport. So just being able to have those opportunities. And I came back home because I wanted to work for the Black man. I didn't want to work for anyone else. I could have easily went into corporate and got a great paying corporate job. But that's not that I wanted to work for my people. I wanted to work for my husband. I wanted to work for my man. I wanted to be on the journey to find that and put myself in an entrepreneurial position, because I know that if I can put myself in an entrepreneurial position now, when my husband does show up and it's time for me to work for him and his kingdom and what it is that he wants to build, I'll be prepped and ready.
I like that. I like that. I like that. And I think the one thing I want to go back to what you were saying about the Willie Lynch letter and everything, because I really believe that those words still permeate today. When we see the colorism, when we see, certain ideologies, when we see the classism, the ageism, you know what I mean? So, I look at it like it's hard sometimes to unlearn certain things and then to relearn all over, because it's almost like a broken bone that didn't heal the right way.
Absolutely. I mean, and then you become addicted to behavior, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like, look at us with sugar. Look at people, like people with sugar. Look at people with, simple bread. Like breaking a habit of eating something is so difficult. Yeah. So just imagine 450 years of programming and it's called a mindset. You're set that way. And so to change that, it does take a lot of work, and it's us recognizing you do need the counseling. You do need the coaching. You do need to, because these people are going to be able to take you inside yourself somewhere that you've never been before. And open up your imagination to the possibilities, right? If you grew up let's say you grew up in the hood, right? You grew up in the hood, you only know the four corners of your street. Right. And not to say that you're less than or you're whatever, but you don't have other perspectives, real life world perspectives of what the rest of the world looks like. So your eyes are set to only that place that you know. Right. But then you go out and you travel the world and you see people live different. People walk different. People talk different. People wash their hair different. People have different night routines and morning routines. People, even their sweat smells different, right? And it really goes, and those might sound so simple, but it's real. Like I remember going to the gym and living in a different country, and I was like, what is that smell? Like it wasn't funky. It just wasn't something I was used to smelling. And I realized, that's how these people smell, but it was because of the food they ate. There was a lot of, they ate a lot of garlic, they ate a lot of ginger, and that was in their dishes, and a lot of oil. So when they sweat, it didn't smell heavy or meaty, but it had a tart, airy smell, and it was like, what is that? Whereas here, it's a heavier, musky smell.
Yeah.
when people sweat. And so it's heavier. But then you look at the foods that people eat here, it's a lot of meat. It's a lot of, heavier food.
Yeah,
and not to say that and it's not to say that either one is better or, worse than the other. It's just different. And if you don't know what that difference looks like, then you're not able to change your perspective, because usually your perspective can be changed through different ways of seeing. But if you don't have other human beings around you that have those different perspectives to provide to you, or you're not even interested in those perspectives, then it's going to be different opening up the mind, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I can't help but ask this. What do you say to a person all they ever seen is abuse in their life?
Yeah, a lot of people who've just seen abuse in their life, it's normal, right? It's normal. It feels foreign to have in my case, I'm a woman, right? So I'm speaking from, my perspective of like, it's different having a healed man in your life when you're used to, him overreacting or yelling at you or, taking on some type of like psychological abuse. And then you get that person who doesn't yell at you and doesn't, speak to you in a certain manner and just asks you, what made you do that? And they make you think, and you're like, but that's not what you're used to. So you're not used to being loved like that. And that's why I was saying, like before, what's right feels wrong and what's wrong feels right. You might take a man like that and be like, he a sucker. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, he's not a sucker. He's healed. He's healthy. He's mentally healthy, and I think that's the beautiful thing. Cause I remember being traumatized and hurt and coping in ways that that's totally different from the lifestyle I live today. And just having those moments moments of reflection, I could sit back now and I'm like, I can't believe I was I can't believe I even gave that person a chance. Or I can't believe I was with that person. Or I can't believe, I can't believe that, because it's like now, because of the mindset shift, because of what I was going through during that time, I got tired of being sick and tired. And that's when I sought counseling. And that's when I sought, self-improvement. And I sought these different things. And once I started going on that journey to self, and I had made a choice that I want to know who I am. Somebody asked me, who are you? And I was like, I don't know. I'm a teacher. No, that's your occupation. Oh, I'm Khadijah. No, that's your name. Well, then who am I? I don't know. Like if I don't have my name and I don't have all these, I don't know who I am. And that was a problem. But it was like, okay, I'm a child of God. Yeah, but who are you? Like, what is your purpose? Why are you here? And it was like, whoa, these are questions that I hadn't at that point been asked before. And that's when my mind opened up. So sometimes it can be something as simple as questions being asked that make you reflect, because you got to come up with an answer, and you're like, how can I find out who I am? How can I find out, my purpose? How can I find out? I don't even know what the purpose is. What does that mean? Yeah. How do I find my heart's desire? How do I talk to God? How do I listen for God? And how do I know it's God talking when He speaks?
Yeah, exactly. And I these are questions that have to be asked. And I think a lot of times some of these questions make us look at ourselves. You know what I mean? And I want to go back to the thing about, a person being in a toxic relationship, because some people, they equate that toxicity as love.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example. There have been guys that I know, they broke up with girls because the girl was like, he's a sucker because he don't hit me. I'm all up in his face and and he don't hit me. And it's almost like, you have to ask yourself, wow, so you equating me loving you as putting my hands on you. And I totally get it, because people have lived in survival mode, but survival mode isn't the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Abuse isn't the norm, but I get it. It's like, if you
but it's their norm.
Yeah,
it's their norm.
It is. It becomes their norm. And so when they step outside of that, it's like, wow, this is totally new. So I don't know how to take it. I remember myself, like, I got so used to being broken and dealing with women, certain women, a certain type of woman. And I just love the streets. I just love, the women that I was dealing with at the time. I'm going to just say, I was the type of person, I was a whoremonger, and I dealt with whores, if I could say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy thing about it, when I actually when I ran into a woman that actually wanted to love me, I was like, ooh, I don't know what to do with this. Because I got so used to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather have the streets than to have something that was, willing to say, hey, I'm not the street. I'm a little bit better than the street. But, I saw the value in it, but I just looked at myself like, nah, man, because I know how I am.
Yeah.
I know how I am, and I don't want to take and hurt you because I know what you want, and I know what I still wanted to still do. I still want to have this woman, that woman, that woman. Didn't matter the cost.
But then it becomes, right? This is what it becomes, and this is the kind of things that produce change. It becomes you having a dilemma of, do I want these streets or do I want her? Because she's not going to put up with that. She's not going to tolerate that, and you know that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time that man will change. And it's not by her saying, you got to choose me or that. No, it's you making the decision of, if I really want that, I don't have a choice. And I think that's what it really comes down to. I knew at the same time, like same thing as you're saying, I knew that in order to attract a certain caliber of man that I want, a certain king that I want, I have to behave in a certain manner. I have to speak in a certain manner. I have to possess a certain feminine essence and energy that's going to attract that. Because alpha males are not going to be attracted to that. I would say they're not going to be attracted to that masculine energy. They're attracted to feminine energy. Feminine energy is more elegant, it's more soft, it's more smooth. So what did I have to do? I had to change myself. I had to become more soft, more smooth, more understanding, more graceful, right? And I changed myself because I knew what it was that I wanted to attract.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, oh, you just changed yourself for a man. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Because I don't want to grow up lonely and die alone and be stuck in the house with nobody next to me. That's not the life that I want.
No.
I don't want to be in a position where I don't have that partner next to me. And even if it's just a partner, like even if it's just somebody who I need, women thrive off of the direction of a man. She's lost without him. She can pretend that she's, I know, like, no, you're lost. Divine law, you are lost without him. You work for him. You work for men. You work for, and so it's like having that divine guidance within like the household. They're going to make you reflect. They're going to piss you off. They're going to trigger you. They're going to make you look at yourself. You might be crying. But guess what? That's you having to constantly rewrite your narrative. That's you having to constantly figure out, why am I jealous right now? Why am I pissed off right now? Why am I sad right now? What am I doing? What am I focusing my attention on that's negative right now? Because the only difference, you can have two people go through the exact same experience. Husband didn't show up. We don't know where he is. You got three different women. One's worried about him sick. She's crying, acting like he done died in somewhere. You got the other one pissed off, mad, unruly. Like, I'm about to jack him up when he gets home. And then you have the other one. Chill, calm, relax. Like, I trust him. I'm not worried about whatever he not home yet. That's not normal. I'm going to give him till about 3 o'clock. And if he's not in here, I'm going to give him a phone call. I don't want to disrupt him while he's hanging out with his friends or while he's chilling. You're going to have those different reactions, but what's the difference is what each of their attention is on. Yeah. One's attention is on jealousy. One's attention is on, oh my gosh, she could be dead, right? She worried. Anxiety kicks in, right? And then the other one's just like, chill. I trust him. I know he ain't doing nothing he ain't supposed to, but also I know his behavior. I know what's normal for him, and this isn't normal for him. So I'm gonna let him have his moment when he comes in, and I'm gonna ask him, what happened tonight? What's going on? You know, like, and there's different ways to handle that.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
You can have some people go off and, you know, you got your bag packed at the door. And then you have other people that are like, you know what? I'm going to let him explain. You know, like, let's talk about this. You know, and it's not to say you handle it accordingly. And how you handle things is according to the response and reaction that you'll get.
I like that. I like that. I definitely like that. Let me give you some applause.
Hey, all the applause to God. All the applause to God.
Hey, yes, all the applause to God. God's in you, and you definitely are a goddess.
Yeah.
So, hey, I want to ask you, how is it that we as men can help our women in the area of security? Because that has always been a question. Like, how can I help you feel more secure?
Wow. I think just being masculine, to be honest. I think the feminine woman is craving masculinity. We're craving masculinity. We're craving direction. We're craving a leader. We're craving somebody to follow. We're craving that knowingness. We're craving that study. I think really it depends on a woman's love language. Like, I know for me, one thing that does make me, I'm a words of affirmation type woman. These days, my love language totally did a switcheroo. But I'm a words of affirmation. I want to know, what is it that I do for you that you like? What is it? How can I improve? I'm constantly improving myself for myself. But if I can know areas of improvement that you see, then I'm more than willing to do that. And if there's areas of improvement that I just think it's really just communicating. I think people feel more secure when there's a knowing. I know that when I cry, I have a safe place to go. I know he's not going to throw it in my face. I know that if I need to be protected, I know that he's also going to do that. I know that he doesn't play about me. You know, like, I know, like, one thing that makes me secure about a lot of my brothers is I know I'm safe. I know they don't play about me. They do not play about me. And I'm like, dang, man, y'all ain't even like my man. And y'all don't play about me. So it's like, for me, it's like, dang, well, that day when he does come around, he's going to have, you know, a lot to deal with. But it's like, they don't play. And it's like, no, you're not going to treat Khadijah like, you can treat Tammy down the street like that, but you're not going to treat Khadijah like that. But I think when we respect ourselves, y'all kind of like tap in and tap onto it. But even if we don't respect ourselves, you know, you all choosing to respect yourself and then putting us kind of in our place. I had a brother who he was telling me about a time when he went to a club, and, you know, the woman was like, oh, you so fine. Let me just get 20 minutes with you. And she's like rubbing on him and touching him. And he was like, sister, respect yourself. Wow. And she was like, what? And he was like, respect yourself. You are too much of a queen to be acting like this. Do you not know how beautiful you are? Do you not know you're God? Respect yourself. And she was like, oh my gosh, I've never heard anybody say this to me. You know, and that was like, that kind of took her aback. And he was telling me this, and I was like, oh, that's, wow. You know, like, that's something else.
Yeah.
And it just took that simple gesture of him saying, respect yourself. That made her, you know, want it, because she thinks she has to act like that in order to get a certain attention. She thinks she has to look a certain way in order to get his attention.
Yeah.
But the truth is, when more women realize they don't have to do that in order to get that male, I think one of the biggest problems is that there's a lot of toxic men that are speaking and have the forefront of the stage. Yeah. And so to see a healthy man, the healthy man is usually not really engaging in that kind of stuff. But he has to get involved in these conversations. He has to get involved in these types of things, because we need that healthy man. We need that alpha man. We need that protection. So that way, even for us, like, you know, like you giving me the opportunity to speak, right? There's not a lot of, I would say, men that necessarily do that these days. They do it, but it depends on what the subject matter is. It depends on what the subject matter is that they're trying to get a rise out of. They're not trying to build. They're trying to tear down. And so you can't, when both the men and the women, because I can never say it's just on the man. He can make me feel secure all day, but if I don't feel secure within myself, then it's not going to help. He's not responsible for my happiness. I am. I have to fulfill myself. Anything that he brings is extra. And when I'm secure and I can look at myself and be okay with me, and then I can be okay with us. But if there's something in me that's lacking, I have to know the difference between, am I responding to his behavior or am I reacting to my emotions of what I feel? And being able to discern that as a woman, that's why I say a lot of the time it's best to keep quiet so you can gather your emotions, because there will be certain things that will trigger a woman and it don't got nothing to do with him, you know, and she'll be complaining about all this stuff and it's like, yo, oh my gosh, she's really mad about these dishes when it don't got nothing to do with them dishes. He's thinking, okay, well, you know what, babe, let me wash these dishes for you. But it has nothing to do with that. It's that she doesn't feel that she's valued at work. She doesn't feel that she's valued around the, you know, like, and so it raffles over into things. And I think that's why having that emotional intelligence and self-awareness is so important, because when you have self-awareness, you're able to self-manage.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I definitely see it. Definitely see that. Let me give you some applause. You know, and as you were talking, I was like, you know, that story that you just told me, I'm like, how did that sister get like that?
I mean, easy. I used to be that sister.
Okay.
You know, like it's the influence. It's the media. It's what's being shown is cool. You know, if you see on TV that, you know, you can't discern having WAP, you know, on the streets versus having WAP in the privacy of your own home. What man doesn't like WAP? I don't know any man who doesn't like WAP.
Yeah.
It's just the context of where the WAP is being placed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Within a marriage, oh yeah, get a bucket and a mop for this WAP, right? Mm-hmm. That's appropriate. That's great. But when you're singing it out in the streets and you're not married, and it means something different, right? And it's being able to discern when and where for that. But a lot of people don't necessarily discern that. And okay, well, I'm just having fun and dancing to it. Okay, this time, but soon enough, your behavior is going to start reflecting that, because you are what you listen to, just like you are what you eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You can have a burger, you can have a piece of pizza, you can have all these things, you know, maybe once a week. But if you start eating it every day, right? You eat junk food every day, you can't be mad when acne start coming on your face. Yeah, you can't be mad that you start gaining weight. You can't be mad because you know what you're doing. It's the same thing with music and reading and watching TV. Well, when you're allowing these programs to control your mind or to take over your mind, hijack your mind for that moment, and you give permission to it, guess what? You are going to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get mad at P Valley when you start acting like that.
No, listen, and don't get it twisted. I love that show.
Yeah. But
guess what? That show is junk food for me because I don't watch TV. So if I can watch the whole series and be good. But even then, it's still toxic to your mind. I'm not encouraging you, right? I'm not encouraging it. I'm not discouraging it either. But I am saying, you know, some people want their sweets every now and then.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, you have some people that are, you know, the same thing, and some people are strictly vegan. Some people are like, you know, I'm vegetarian, and I'll eat a piece of fish every now and then. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not going to eat fish every day, but I'll have a piece of fish every now and then. I'll have some, or you have some vegetarians that are like, oh, I'm going to eat chicken today. and they might eat chicken every 6 months.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just about like choosing the darkness is going to be there, but it's being conscious. Are you conscious of what you're watching on TV? Because there's a lot of great lessons from P-Valley. Like, I've learned so much from P-Valley. Mm-hmm. I've understood, and it allows me into a different world that I'm not exposed to.
Yeah.
To be able to speak to women, that are in that environment without feeling judged. And I think a lot of the times, like, there's a difference between correction and judgment, and and that's why I say, like, the patience is so important, because it's like, if we want to improve our community, we have to acknowledge all of our community. In a book by Tamika Mallory, I can't remember the name of the book at the moment. It's called I think it's State of Emergency. Is that it? There we go. Yes, State of Emergency. In State of Emergency, it's so beautiful how it began, because Angela Davis and Cardi B are having a conversation. They're writing a letter to each other. And Cardi B was asking Angela Davis if she has place to say anything about politics and what's going on, because of her being a rapper, because of, the subject matters that Cardi B talks about, right? And she was like, Angela Davis, is there room for people like me to have an opinion about what's going on? And Angela Davis was like, absolutely. Everyone has a seat at this table. Everyone gets an opinion, regardless of your background, regardless of that. And I mean, you see Jesus throughout the Bible talk about it, get that stick out your eye. Who hasn't sinned? Put that rock down, and it's recognizing. And I think really it's humbling, because sometimes we can put ourselves on this pedestal but it's the most beautiful part of every journey, in my opinion, is how these people woke up, and whatever it is. Yeah, and whatever it is that they woke up to is what they end up doing with their life's purpose. That big lesson, that big obstacle that you're struggling with, when you come out of that, you are going to help thousands and millions of people do it themselves as well. Like, the only reason I can talk the way I do, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about this earlier. Like, oh my gosh, I wish I was you. I'm like, I'm glad it looked good now, and it's like, no, this comes from study. Yeah. This comes from, 16 hours of study per day. This comes from not watching TV. This comes from, being willing to make certain sacrifices. This comes from losing friends. This comes from not being invited to weddings. This comes from, losing friendships. This comes from all that, and that's painful. But it's like, are you going to choose your purpose? Are you going to choose, other things? And it's like, it's a tough decision to say yes to your purpose, to say yes to follow that path. It's a tough decision, and people make it look like it's easy, and it's not. No, you want to go to that wedding. You want to go to that art show to support your friend. You want to go to this and that. You want to do all these things, but you can't. You can't. You can. But you can't. At the same time, you always can. You always can. But that's part of discipline, right? Discipline is seeing what it is that you can do. What did Kanye say? Everything I'm not made me everything I am.
Yeah, I like that. Let me give you some applause, because you waking me up. I'm not going to lie. You definitely opening my eyes to certain things, because I look at it, when you said, when that person finally wakes up, and I call it the come to Jesus moment. I'm like, everybody comes to themselves. Everybody has a come to Jesus moment where they realize, like, yo, I'm at the crossroad of change, and I choose to change. And so, I know I mentioned P-Valley, but also at the end of that series, the main characters started changing. Like, yo, we got to start thinking about not only ourselves, but we got to start thinking about our city. We got to start thinking about the next generation.
Absolutely. And even when the mom and the mom and the daughter got in that fight, and they ended up in jail. One was trying to open up a church, and the other was trying to open up a community center. You know, and you look at those efforts, and both of them are great.
Yeah, they are.
Like, and it's like, dang. Now, the action that the mom took, that was jacked up.
Yeah, that was
you know.
up.
But, you know, like, she was creating her church, and the other one was creating the community center. But either way, their intentions were pure. And it just goes to show sometimes people do what they have to do in order to get where they need to be, in order to speak who they need to speak to.
Yeah.
And that's that's why I said, sometimes you got to say no. You go through stuff, you know, you go through things. Like, had it not been for, what's her name? Autumn, right? Had it not been for her, you know, they wouldn't have had the money to buy the club bag.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but what did that come through? That came through her getting domestic violence. That came through her doing these different things. And it's like, we've all reached this destination, and how we all got here is different. And I like to view religion and spiritual practices the same way. We all arrive to that destination of becoming one with God in a different way. If that means you're going down on your knees and you praying 5 times a day, you know, then that's what gets you there. If it means that you just bend down and say your prayers in the morning, you say your prayers at night, that's what gets you there. But it doesn't mean that my way is superior to your way. No, it's the way that you were made that allows you to receive.
Yeah. And here's my take. My take, and this is just my personal opinion. I believe that the power of belief will give you the manifestation of whatever system that you have applied yourself to, that you subscribe to, because it's about the power of you giving yourself to that thing. Once you give yourself to whatever system it is, you're going to see the manifestation of it.
Absolutely. And like, you know, I would even go as far to say, you know, in the before Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him died, passed away, he gave his last sermon. And basically what he said in his last sermon was, he said, "Oh, ye believers." He didn't say, "Oh, ye Muslims." He said, "Oh, ye believers." He was specific with his words.
Yeah.
So what is a believer? A believer in what? It said, "Oh, ye believers," not, "Oh, ye Muslims." Oh, ye believers. And if it was meant to be Muslims, then he would have said Muslims, but he didn't. So it's about that belief. What do you believe in? You can't outperform your belief.
Yeah.
You can't outperform your belief. If you believe that, and this goes to even if you're lying to yourself. I'm so down with lying to yourself. I love lying to myself because eventually I believe the lie that I'm telling myself.
Wow. Okay.
And it's about telling oneself good lies.
Yeah.
And not even good lies, but it's the truth. Sometimes you gotta mask the truth of the lie to yourself for you to believe it.
Wow.
So if somebody tells you, "Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful," you lying. You know, or someone's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so intelligent," you lying, right? Somebody who has low self-esteem, you lying, right? "Oh my gosh, you are such a goddess," you are lying, right? But if that's not what you believe in, so you think people do gas you up. Whereas, you know what, I got low self-esteem, you know what, okay, you know what, I'm going to feed myself, but this is where affirmations come in. Right? I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am strong. I might not believe it the first 10,000 times I say it. But I'll tell you what, that 10,556th time that I say it, something done changed and switched automatically.
Yes.
It's like having a cup of dirty water, right? And then you put the cup under the faucet and start running clean water through that dirty water. Eventually it's going to dissolve to where you only see the clean water.
Exactly.
So that's what you're doing with affirmations. The affirmations is that faucet water coming out.
Yeah. So in other words, you're saying that we can pretty much affirm good relationships.
Absolutely, Brother Leon. I told you, did I?
No, go
I
ahead.
told you my story. I told you my story, right?
Oh, yeah.
About how I used to be like, N-words ain't S-H-I-T. I used to say it all the time. I used to affirm that. I was like, N-words ain't S-H-I-T. I used to say, that was my theme song.
Okay.
Like, to the point where there was a song, and it was like, N-words ain't, no, or maybe it was, it was the B word. It was like, B words ain't ish, but O's and trees. And I switched it, and I was like, N words ain't ish, but and I was singing it all the time. And then I was like, you know what? Once I started learning and coming into the knowledge that I have now, I was like, you know what if I'm attracting this to myself?
Yeah. By
saying this thing over and over again. So I'm gonna lie to myself, and I'm telling myself I only attract kings, and men are beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love men. Men are absolutely amazing. I love men. I love men. I love men. They're so amazing. They're protective of me. They care about me. Oh, they see my value. They don't disrespect me. They're actually they're so nice, so intellectual. But Leon, my entire world changed. Now that's all I'm around. And even if it's a man who's like, he acts a certain way. When he's around me, he don't act like that. So I don't see that side of him that other people are talking about. Like, why you talk to this person? They do this, they're that. They're not anything, Oh my gosh, I can't believe you talk to them. And I'm like, but they don't treat me like that. They open my door. Oh my God, Khadijah, how did you get him to do that? I didn't get him to do nothing. He wanted to do it. I didn't get him to do nothing.
Yeah. Exactly. There it is.
But he knows if he wants to be around me, he has to treat me a certain way. That's what he knows.
Yeah. And it goes to the scripture that you can win a man by your conversation. You can win your husband or win your significant other by conversation. And not so just words alone, but actions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I look at it like this. I'm getting ready to do an episode called Feeling Gets the Blessing. Because if you make that man feel a certain way, you're going to get blessed by that man. Because, you have the power of influence. Women, they got to begin to see themselves that you are the glory of that man. You are the influence in his life. And so if you make that man feel a certain way, he going to go for it. You can make that man feel like he's Superman and get ready to take on the Incredible Hulk. And he might just be like 95 pounds, but because your faith and your words of affirmation have affirmed him, he's like, yo, man, I got this. Thank you, baby. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's how powerful it is. Like, there's a saying in Islam that's like, heaven lies at the mother's feet. And it's like, people can interpret it how they want to interpret it, but I would like to say, like, that's the power of a woman, though. Yeah. It's like, heaven is literally, we open the door. We can make your life heavenly and we can make it hellish.
Hell yeah.
and that's why they're like, even what the Bible say, there's nothing like a woman scorned.
Yeah, the foolish woman, she takes and she'll tear up her own house. But a wise woman builds it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. There's nothing worse than a woman scorned, because the vengeance of a woman, oh my God.
No, men don't have nothing on us. Men don't have nothing on us.
I'm serious. And it's crazy because when I was married, I used to say, man, I don't never want to get on the side of your vengeance, because I know it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad. So I just said,
because the thing is women, we have a tendency to, because we're the emotional mind naturally already, right? Naturally, men are already the intellectual mind.
Yeah.
Right? Women are the emotional mind. So it's our emotions, right? It's like you said, it's the feeling. We provoke feelings, which means we also have those feelings that we provoke, right? And so you can only imagine if I can empower you, like a voltage, right? You're literally just plugging into me.
Yeah.
I'm the source of the power. So if I turn against me, because I feel like a scorned woman is like her turning against herself and then therefore reacting upon him, right? So if I turn against me, I'm fighting me and you getting in the middle of me fighting me.
Yeah.
And both my sides are cooking in, so you get in the middle of this, brother. Yeah, you might want to step back.
Oh, yeah. You definitely ain't going to get no sleep. you definitely are not going to get no sleep.
But it's that peace. And I think everyone struggles to come into peace. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter who you think you are, what you think you are. Everyone struggles with it. I struggle with it. I mean, I was just struggling with it 2 days ago. And literally crying to myself and thinking about stuff and rethinking. And it's not a bad thing. It just means you know how to cope with yourself. You know how to, but it's like, what triggered this? Where is this feeling coming from? What is this? And it's understanding self to be like, you know what? Yeah. I'm evolving. I'm growing. Things are changing, and that's okay. Yeah. It's okay not to be okay. What's not okay is to stay there.
Yeah, I like that. Let me give you some applause on that one. Because you're making me think. You're making me think about. There was a lady that I used to date, and the crazy thing, she gave me everything that I wanted. But the thing with her was, what I wanted was peace. But the crazy thing about it, she didn't know how to give me that because she was so accustomed to drama. Her drama was peace. So if she wasn't fighting with me, she was fighting with her mom. If she wasn't fighting with her mom, she fighting with her sisters. If she wasn't fighting with all of them, she was fighting at work. It was always a fight. But she was at peace with the fight. And I just wanted some peace without the drama. You gave me everything else. You know, and so and it's crazy because the relationship ended. It wasn't until I got out of the relationship that I understood what it was. And I was like, I wish to God I could have told her. Maybe we could have had some changes, and ain't no telling what would have happened. But it's the fact that I was there and I didn't know how to convey it. But, that whole thing about peace, I see that it was so important because while I was there, I mean, the stress level was high. I was having heart palpitations and everything. But then when she left, all of that stopped. I'm serious. It stopped. I mean, it took maybe about a good week and a half and it stopped.
Yeah, because energy is powerful.
Yeah.
Like, you have to treat your energy like as a very sacred thing. Like, that's why I'm saying I was willing to lose friends. I was willing to do, because I don't want to be around that. I don't want to hear you complaining all day. That's not, I can't function in it. I'm not that person, and I'm not going to pretend to be that person. If you feel that way, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to always encourage a different thought. A thought that's serving you. A thought that's going to bring you awareness and healing to yourself. Because it means that you're not in connection with who you are. You're actually disconnecting from who you are. Some people, a lot of thought leaders will debate me on this, but I would like to say, spending that alone time is good. Like, yes, we are made for connecting with others, but we're really made for connecting with God. And that sacred relationship that we have, we can only get when we're alone.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Because even Jesus went places by himself.
Did you imagine? I mean, Jesus was running away from home. He was running away from home. Like, Mary had to find him in the churches, and then he has the nerve to say, leave him alone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm teaching right now. Could you imagine your 12-year-old child, you looking for him, you finally find him in the church, and they telling you that they are with their father right now doing work, and they don't want to talk to you? You know how many, if a child in our community did that, they would get an ass whooping. Excuse my language.
Oh, yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool.
They would be getting their tail beat, but it was Jesus. You know what I mean? And so, you know, and this was part of our community. So just imagine, you know, what Mary was probably like, what in the world? You know what? I can't with him today. You know what I mean? And just Jesus was doing whatever he wanted to. Doing whatever he wanted to. So, because he knew he was following the Father. And she knew that too. But, and even as a woman, being the mother of a child like that, you know what I mean? Like, you can't even tell him what to do. You just got to trust that he's telling the truth about God guiding him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well, God didn't have no conference call with us, so clearly it's between y'all. But, okay, you know, so.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this. How can we get on the track to fixing when it comes to broken relationships? How can we start fixing and mending broken relationships?
I think wanting it, there needs to be desire for it, and working towards a similar end goal, right? And staying on track. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Of, you know, having those different parts exposed and being open and being willing. A lot of people are afraid of themselves, and they don't know themselves. And so as they're getting to know themselves, it's scary. I don't want to share this part with my partner. I don't want to share. People can barely talk about STDs. So let alone how you feel. You know what I mean? So in the vulnerable parts of yourself, you know, you got to have these conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
There are conversations that matter. And this is in relationship I'm talking about, you know, even really, really close friendships, you know. There are certain conversations that you're going to have. There are certain, you know, things that come up that, are you going to be truthful with your friend in this moment? Are you going to quit? You know, but it's like, no, we're growing together. We're both evolving. I might wake up and get on your nerves tomorrow.
Yeah. And
we've been doing this for, you know, the past, you know, 6-8 months. And now all of a sudden, you're mad at me for doing what I've been doing. You know, but it's that evolution, it's that growth, it's that willingness to commit to growth together. And I think, like, even when I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for someone, are you willing to grow? Because I know for a fact, 5 years from now, hell, even next year, I'm not going to be the same person.
Exactly.
I'm going to look different. I'm going to walk different. I'm going to talk different. I'm going to dress different. I'm going to smell different. I'm going to pick a different perfume out. So my thing is, are you ready for when that person goes?
Exactly.
Because I can't even say if I'm ready for that person to come. I remember dating an amazing young man. Oh, he was such a beautiful soul. And the only reason we you know, didn't get together is because, you know, I knew I couldn't be the helper that he needed. And, you know, I want a brother, and he wasn't a brother. And he, beautiful, you know, beautiful brother from, you know, still part of the melanated family for sure, but I know I want a brother. And so, you know, for me, it was like, because I stand in that stance so hard, I have a lot of brothers from other cultures that be ready. You know, they be like, hey, hola mamacita, you know, and I'll be like, no. Gaijin, that's Chinese. I'll be like, adios, bro, adios, papi, cannot do it. Because I know what it is that I want to be for my husband. I know what it is I want to be in the community and take place and take part in it. I don't feel comfortable even with myself, you know, wanting to put a certain family together that looks a certain way and not put those puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
But, I feel like I was about to say something, but I forgot what I wanted to.
Nah, hey, look, I love what you're saying thus far. Let me give you some applause. And that's the God knows truth, because, I love the fact that you are committed, to us, to the black people, to the black family, to the black man, to the black woman. I love that you are committed. You're bringing it out, just having a willingness to want to change, to heal that. But then you also are going into the thing about making sure that you're aware, because nobody stays the same. I like that. And so I think, knowing that and seeing that, you got to have an awareness. You have to have a willingness, an awareness, because in order for things to change, in order for things to get healed, you got to be present. You got to be fully present to make sure that we're putting the pieces together, or we're creating something totally new. Because I believe we can come back from anything.
Absolutely. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say now.
Okay.
So this beautiful melanated brother, he was saying, he was like, when we were talking, I kind of told him, I was like, I was very honest, and I was like, look, you're not a brother, and so I don't see us, going further than friends. However, I will say this, like, I don't mind going on dates and, developing a friendship, or even, a companionship, if anything else. And we end up being like best friends, and just like, also like having that person who I was like, look, I don't know who I'm going to be in the next 6 months. So I'm glad that you're here. And if you decide to leave, I totally understand it. But this was like the beginning. I was like, I totally understand if you leave. I'm just saying, I don't know who I'm going to wake up as tomorrow. And I'm going to constantly be changing, constantly be shifting, constantly be, in these different modes. And he was like, okay. But because I set that precedent, it kind of set the precedent. It kind of set the precedence of, oh, okay, she's going to change. Oh, okay, she's going to, oh, there she goes. She's changing. There's the evidence. Look at it, And so because that was kind of the preset and the foreground and opening. Now, had I not said that, he would probably be wondering, like, what is going on with her? She got a different opinion. Yesterday she liked green. Today she liked purple.
Yeah.
Now she talking about how green is better than purple. And now purple better than green. Now she don't care about purple or green.
Yeah.
What in the world? But it's like that commitment to growth, and being willing to, and that's why I say it's so important when women choose their leader, essentially when women choose their leader, aka their man, they have to decide, like, is this something I want to grow with? Like, is it, and when I say it, I mean like their way of being, their knowledge, their who they are. Is this the mirror that I constantly want to look into?
I like that.
Because if the answer is no, and it's not about the physical mirror, I'm talking about the spiritual mirror, where you're getting triggered by this person when he's getting triggered by you. Because, like, ladies, we get on his nerves too. He just might not be as verbal about it as we are.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's knowing, like, okay, I'm getting on his nerves. Let me be quiet. Let me sit back. Let me relax. And it could be him, like, babe, you talking a lot today, and I just want silence. And it's having those conversations, and having those, those tough conversations, and even the petty conversations too. Like, hey, look, I woke up today and I don't like you. I don't like me either. And it don't got nothing to do with you, so please, I just need time today.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, well, at least you were honest. No, I think having that conversation daily, what, honesty?
Yeah, honest. Just being honest.
But if they don't know their feelings, right?
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about therapy and all being aware of oneself is if you don't know yourself, then you're setting yourself up for failure in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because I remember having I had an ex, and he was fantastic. He knew me better than I knew me. And I was like, I'm never getting that kind of relationship again. Like, he knew my every move. He's like, and then when you want this, you do this, you do that. And I was like, dang, as he was calling it out, the behavior, I was like, dang, I didn't even know I did that. That's a good evaluation.
Oh, yeah. His awareness was on point.
Absolutely. And it was like, when you want this, you do this. When you don't like this, you do this. When you do this, he's like, I know you like the back of my hand. And I was like, well, I need to know me, how you know me and better, but that set up for like, though that relationship wasn't a success, and it goes back to the same thing. I didn't want, as I was growing, I realized I don't want a brother. I want a North American brother.
Okay.
And the North American brother. That's it. He can be from the motherland, but he won't be my man.
Let me give you some applause. Hooray for America! North American men, you definitely better hear this.
Listen, I don't care what it is. I am here, and I want to make that clear for everyone. I am here for the black man. And the black man of North America, the black man in the wilderness of North America, I am here for him. I'm not here I love our African brothers. They are beautiful. They are amazing. They are wonderful. But I'm not here for them. And you can say, well, that's racist. That's this, that's that. No other culture understands what our people have been through. And because I am the best that I can be, because now we actually can be, I have to give this legacy to my, to my people. I have to bring it back home to my people.
Yeah. Exactly. We need that. We definitely need that. So I want to end it right there. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your perspective, because I look at what is happening in these streets, the conversations that I'm having with African brothers and sisters. They want to know how we can, heal the divide. But the thing is that a lot of Africans don't know the struggle here. And so, the whole thing that I will say is this, is that we can learn from one another, because we both have been told lies.
Absolutely. But see, my thing is, I'm not even interested in it. I don't get it twisted. I'm interested in whoever needs what they need, right? You don't get to choose who you heal. You allow them to come to you. Yeah. And when they come to you, you don't deny them. Because I have everyone calling me. Like I got, my white brothers and sisters calling. I got my Indian brothers and sisters calling. From all over the world, just calling me. Hey, Khadijah, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I don't care where you're from. But it doesn't mean I got to sleep with it and I got to build a family with it. That's totally different.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, we don't have to even understand each other. And that's the beautiful thing. Is I don't have to understand you in order for us to get along, in order for us to be peaceful. Now, if there's a conflict, yes, then maybe having some understanding and common understanding will be necessary. But I don't have to fully understand you to appreciate you and to love you. Yeah. And to understand, like, yeah, you're right. We have been through, there's things that we've been through as a culture and as a society that they will never know what it is not to know their language, not to have their traditions, not to have, this is for any culture around the world, not to have your holidays, not to know your mother tongue.
Yeah.
Right? Not to have those vibrations, but then still carry it in a different way. Right? We still carry the heritage of wherever we came from with us through our cooking. If you look at the different foods that we make and then you compare it to other places, you go, oh, we make that too, but we call that, okay, let me find out. We this tribe,
Exactly.
and but the thing is like, we're different, and that's okay. And I'm not saying, I'm telling my story, and I want to make that very clear. I'm telling my story. I'm telling my preferences. I'm telling my opinions. I'm telling this is through my experiences and the knowledge and wisdom that I've gained. Now, are they bound to change later on? Absolutely, in regards to certain opinions and growing and further knowledge. However, the thing about the brothers, that will not change.
All right. I
Because
like
they
it.
deserve it.
I love
Our
it.
brothers deserve the best.
Yes. Commitment to the black man. I love it. I love it. So, hey, I just say, hey, brothers, if you are here in North America, I hope you are listening to this podcast. Oh, man, let me give you some applause. Because I'm going to tell you this. It is a diamond here in America, in these states. And her name is Khadijah Tou Tou. Let me give you some applause.
Come on, Diamond.
I'm telling you.
Oh, praise be to God.
You are priceless. And I look at it like this. I look at it like this. You're like that parable where a man, he paid the cost to buy the field because he knew it was a treasure in that field.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever cost that the brother has to pay to get to you, to have you as a treasure, man, pay that cost, bro. It's worth it. I'm telling you. It is definitely worth it. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do this, because I really appreciate it. I really appreciate, the conversation.
I appreciate the conversation as well. Thank you so much for having me. And again, thank you for providing a platform to expose those thoughts and those questions and having such thought-provoking questions. And even your willingness to find ways that you find to heal and to mend these different things that are seen as broken or seen as areas of improvement. And having, the sources come onto your show to expose what the solutions look like.
Yeah. I just look at it like this. Every voice has significance. And my thing is, I just want to bring a variety so that we can come into truth.
Yeah. And that's important. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
So let me give you some applause. Oh man, Miss Khadijah, I so love you. That's the God knows truth. So how can people follow you?
Yeah, so people can follow me on Instagram at Khadijah Tou Tou, which is KHADIJAHTOUTOU. They can also follow my Facebook. More than likely, I answer the Instagram before I answer anything else. So feel free, follow, talk to me, comment in the sections. I answer back, I talk back. So, let's get the conversations going. Let's get the knowledge flowing. And as I said before, we have some coaching programs that are going to be coming up and coming out soon. And if you ever need a workshopper and have an event and you guest speaker or something like that, also, go to that, inquire, let's have a chat, and let's make it happen. Because, the more that different perspectives can get put out about the mind and understanding how the mind works, it's really when you understand how the mind works that you're able to heal yourself and you're really able to navigate through certain obstacles.
I like that, definitely. So, can you leave us with some words of wisdom about love and about ourselves?
Wow. About love and about yourself. Okay. I'm going to quote Michael Jackson on this. He says, I'm staring at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been made clearer. If you want to make a change, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. And it's always you versus you. Always. It's always you versus you. Are you willing to become the greatest version of yourself? in order to go to the next level. What does that next level look like for you? In love, love is a beautiful energy of peace. How do you maintain that peace? Sometimes you got to go through the storm in order to get the peace, because you don't believe that peace is so easy to achieve. You don't believe that the peace is the one within. You don't believe and see that you are a God, and you got to spend time with God, and you got to spend time with that knowingness. You might be struggling with your emotions. You might be struggling with sadness, with depression, with anger, with jealousy, with envy. But just understand it's about how you process that. There's nothing wrong feeling it. Feel it. Change the thought. Understand and know what you're going through. When certain people come around you, what kind of energy are you feeling? Become aware of that. And if they don't make you feel good, you might need to stay away. If they make you feel amazing, evaluate that. Or do you not like them because they're telling you the truth? Does the truth trigger you to become your greater version? Or is it attacking your ego and making you want to remain the same? In order to change, you have to be willing to become something else. The lesson will be repeated until it's learned. Are you willing to go through certain lessons we learn again, or we go through again just to ensure that we learned our lesson? Or there's certain parts of the lesson that we didn't notice before, that now we're noticing about ourselves. Maybe that lesson came up again because maybe it wasn't something you were supposed to discover about someone else, but something that you were supposed to discover about yourself. Maybe that situation happened so you could evaluate and observe the way that you reacted to that. So you could observe and ask yourself, why, when this happens, do I react this way? Why, when this happens, does this trigger jealousy in me? And I know I'm not a jealous person, but where is this coming from? Can you go inside yourself? The first step to love is loving on you.
Yeah.
Can you love on you? Because when you love on you, and you know how to love on you, and you know how to talk to yourself, when you talk to others, you talk to others in the same capacity that you talk to yourself.
I like that.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it. Oh, my Lord. I got to give you some thunder, too.
He's making it rain. I need an umbrella.
No, it's all good, because you just brought that thunder. I'm telling you, you brought the truth. I'm serious, because it's going to make us look at ourselves and come into a place of accountability and responsibility. So I want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for provoking that. I feel like I'm going to get off here and be praying all night.
All right.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I feel that I just want to say, like, I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know what it is, but I only get this feeling that somebody needs to hear this. Like, it's come in a very timely manner, is all I'll say. And I can feel it. I don't know who's listening to this, right now, or, like on this podcast right now, but somebody's listening to it. And I just want to encourage whoever it is that you can do it. You will make it tomorrow. You will make it the next day. You'll make it the next day after that. And no, it won't be easy, but you'll fight through it. And you'll change your thoughts and you'll change your thought pattern in order for you to get to the next level. Because you know it. Hold the vision, hold the goal, and stare at it and laser focus on it. You got it.
Wow. That is prophetic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, hey, Miss Khadijah, I just want to say thank you. We definitely got to do this again. And I'm not going to lie. Every time you come on this platform, we are blessed. And I just want to say thank you for just being you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for you being you as well. I love the energy.
But, hey, I just want to say, hey, thank you. And you have yourself a blessed evening. If you get ready to go into prayer, I ain't going to stop you, because God knows we definitely need some prayer. People, man, they definitely need somebody that's going to intercede and pray for them and give them words of affirmation and confirmation. So I just want to say thank you. So, hey, you take and enjoy your evening, and we will definitely do this again.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Thank you, Brother Leon.
All right.
You too. Peace.
Bye. All right, guys, that was Miss Khadijah Tou Tou. The one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is this, is that we have coaches for a reason. We have teachers for a reason. We have therapists and psychologists for a reason. It is for the healing of the insides. It's for the healing of the emotions. And in order for us to be whole emotionally and have the type of love that we want and desire, we got to deal with the issues at hand. So I'm thankful that Miss Khadijah was very transparent these last 2 days, because it's about testimony. The Bible says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, and they loved not their own lives, even unto the death. That was Revelations 12:11. And the one thing that I want you to see is this, is that you overcome by hearing other people's stories. You overcome by hearing other people's experience. So I want you to be blessed. And I thank you guys for this time and this moment. Peace.
Walk in the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media outlets.